Hello everybody. This video is about how I grew an eBay account that allows me to post 2.7 million items and $180 million worth of items. And it didn't take me that long. It took like a year and a half, but I could have done it faster. And so I'm going to do this video so that you guys can do it faster. Okay, so first you have to understand how eBay account limits work. You have a quantity limit and you also have a dollar limit. The quantity limit determines how many items you can have posted and sold at any given time. Same with the dollar limit, right? So typically you'll start off with something like 100 items and maybe $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 as your item total dollar limit, right? You can increase these limits exponentially. And that's one of the fascinating things about it, is because if you can figure out how to earn money, then you can earn exponentially more with a bigger account, right? There are ways I'm not going to get into with drop shipping and, virtual assistants and optimization and all that kind of stuff. That's not what this video is about. This video is about how to grow eBay account limits. So you need to understand that you have to call every 30 days. And you need to understand the variables that lead to you getting accepted or you getting rejected. So in order to be eligible for an account limit increase, you need to be using like 75% of your account limits, right? And you don't have to be using both of them. You could just be using one. You can also request for an increase on the quantity limit and not the dollar limit, that kind of thing. But I always recommend you to do both. So first off, every 30 days, no matter what, call and ask for an increase. Even if they tell you call back in 60 days, don't call back, whatever. Just every 30 days, call and ask. That's the most important thing. But that being said, you need to have a certain amount of your listings filled. But this is kind of misleading because imagine that you have, imagine that you have an account limit of 100 items. You have to, let's say you have to increase, you have to have about 3/4 of your account used in order to be eligible for an increase. Oh my god, this cat is so annoying. But that doesn't mean that you have to have 75 items posted. You could actually have one item set to a quantity of 70. As far as eBay is concerned, that is exactly the same. As far as eBay is concerned, that just means you have 70 of an item. You're not like working around it. You're just, hoping that somebody is going to buy 20 of your item at once. It is actually perfectly acceptable for instead of you posting more items, you can literally just increase your default quantity to something absurd and then just fill your account that way just to get an increase. So you don't actually even need to post more items. And what's cool about this is that you don't pay more insertion fees when your default quantity is higher if you're using a good till canceled listing. So what you do is you use a good till canceled listing. You're going to have to pay for that one listing every 30 days. But you set the default quantity to something like 100. That one listing will take up 100 items and 100 times whatever the dollar cost of in your account limits. So that's a really easy way to kind of fluff your account limits so that you can get an increase. Let me explain something else about eBay accounts. You guys are not going to, a lot of people listening to this are going to think I'm crazy, but eBay doesn't give a fuck about your sell-through rate. Okay? eBay cares indirectly about your sell-through rate, but I know from personal experience, I bulk posted tens of thousands of items, right? I just uploaded URLs to eBay. My sell-through rate was less than 1%. Not once did that ever come up in me asking for limit increases. The only thing that eBay cares about is that you are producing some form of sales and that you're getting positive feedback. As long as you are doing that, you could have one sale out of every 300 items and they will keep increasing your account limits. If you have negative feedback, then they will reject you. But that's pretty much the only reason. There's two reasons they'll reject your request for an account limit increase. One is from negative feedback, like an influx of negative feedback, as they're late to say. And the other one is because you don't, like, if I tried to get an account limit right now, they'd be like, dude, you're only using like a fifth of your account. How Why would we give you an increase? I would get rejected because these two bars here need to be in the red. They need to be like almost filled, and then you can get an increase. And I could just fill them by setting my default quantity to something like 100 or 1,000, right? It's very doable. And I used to think that changing the default quantity of a listing was kind of a workaround, and eBay would frown upon that, but they really don't care. Oh my God, Kat, if you screw up my headphones, I'm going to throw you out the window. Stop that. Sorry. Oh no, don't do it. Frickin'. Sorry. Okay. So we've talked about account limits. We've talked about that eBay only cares that you are producing some sales. They don't care about the proportion of sales to your current eBay account. So you can make like really high quantity listings to just work around that, even if you're only getting a couple sales a month, right? And then we talked about they will reject you if you have bad feedback recently, but as long as you have good feedback, it doesn't matter if it's only a small portion of your account. They'll keep giving you increases as long as you show them that you are maxing your account, right? Okay, so that being said, what about the very beginning? Because you need to be producing some sales in the first place, right? So what I'm going to show you are two ways that you can get, that you can sell items on eBay. And like I said, you don't need to be selling a bunch of items. You just need to produce a couple sales. That's it, right? So what we're going to do, so I'm going to turn on my VPN. Well, I'm going to try and turn on my VPN. Because I'm in Nicaragua right now, so I want to go to Craigslist, but I don't think Craigslist exists in Nicaragua. Let's see. So obviously you can sell stuff around the house, and I recommend you do auctions. Even if you want to be a drop shipper, you should start off selling things on eBay physically because it's going to give you experience, and it's way, way easier to get positive feedback when you're selling physical objects than it is when you're drop shipping, right? Because you don't need a whole bunch. You just need a couple positive feedback sales a month, and that's enough, coupled with making your account look like it's maxed, to just keep getting increases on your account. Oh, sorry for how scattered this is. There's one thing. Before I show you the two ways that I recommend you earn money selling physical products on eBay, I want to show you one more thing about account limits. So I told you that every 30 days you can call and get an increase, and you can get up to 100% increase that way. So potentially your eBay account has the ability to double every month. But eBay gives automatic increases if you've shown to be selling a certain amount for like about a 90-day period. And those automatic increases can be even more than 100%. I've gotten automatic increases that are like 5, 6, 700% of my account limits. So overnight, my account got increased in size as much as it has in the whole year and a half that it took me to grow it, which is really, really interesting, right? So, no way, there's a Craigslist in Nicaragua? What? No frickin' way. I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Wow, there's Craigslist everywhere. Cool. Yeah, of course there's no results because I'm in Nicaragua. Okay, but anyway, I wanted to show you something with Craigslist. So I used to sell Nintendo products. As you can see here, this is a Game Boy. And what I would do is I would buy Super Nintendo games, Nintendo 64s, Nintendo 64 games, NESs, because there's so much demand for those products that they're really easy to sell on eBay. And the best way to get them is to actually, okay, when most people use Craigslist, what they do is they find an ad, right? So I want a Super Nintendo. I'd search Super Nintendo on Craigslist, and then I'd find an ad that somebody has one for sale. The thing about that is that means that the person knows that somebody wants what they have. They know that it has value, and they've already put time and effort into research and posting a listing. This means you're not going to get a very good deal with them. At least you're less likely to. But there's another way to use Craigslist. So instead of looking through posted ads for items, you can make a post saying that you are looking for items. And this is a really, really good way to get good deals. Because when you do it this way, people contact you knowing that they have what you want, but they haven't done a whole lot of research. So they're more prone to you getting a really good deal from them, right? Especially if you buy a whole lot at once, right? There have been situations in this where I posted an ad for, like, that I was buying Super Nintendos, Nintendo 64s, and retro game stuff, and I bought like $400 worth of stuff for $100. Like, people are less prone, say that they have one item, like one game that's worth $50, they're not very prone to selling it to you for 20, even if they haven't done much research. But if they have a ton of stuff, a whole collection, it's really easy to get it really cheap because they have so much of it that they can get $100 or $200, and that seems like a lot of money to them, even though in reality it's worth like $500, $600, $700, right? So I can't go into this too much because I'm currently in Nicaragua, so I can't really show you. But basically what you do is you make a post like this, and then you do wanted by owner or wanted by dealer, that kind of thing. And then you post an ad saying, hey, this is my name, here's my contact information, here's a cool photo of the kind of stuff I'm interested in, this is the kind of price that I pay, I'm looking for Nintendos, Super Nintendos, N64s, that kind of stuff. I really encourage you to resell Nintendo products because they are so easy to sell on eBay. There's really high demand for them and they sell quickly, which is awesome. All right. So now that I've talked to you guys about this, we're going to talk to you guys about the second thing that you can do to earn money on eBay selling things physically. And this is the most profitable thing I ever did selling things physically on eBay. And that is selling Magic the Gathering cards. Okay? Some of these cards, if you don't know what Magic the Gathering is, it is the most popular trading card game in the world. So you've probably heard about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were geared towards kind of children. Magic the Gathering cards is like the adult, respectable trading card pile of... And let me show you something. The reason you can make so much money of this... Not all Magic the Gathering cards are worth much. In fact, most of them aren't worth much money at all. The thing is, the people who are into Magic are so into Magic. We have people who've dropped, like, tens of thousands of dollars on this kind of shit. And so, you see, it's really easy to find photos like this. Like, check out this photo, guys. Once it loads. Sorry, my internet connection's kind of slow. No. What? Look at that. You see all that? This cat is chewing on my toes. Fucking weird animal. Okay, look at all those. There's so many cards. And you see all these too? Look at all of this. I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, there are people out there who spent tons of money on their Magic the Gathering cards. They know a lot about their Magic the Gathering cards. And they know which ones are worth selling, which ones still have value, which ones are rare. They have since lost interest in Magic the Gathering. They're no longer as passionate as they used to be, and they want money for something. You can sell these the cards for these people and earn a lot of money. The thing is, when you normally sell Magic the Gathering cards, you waste tons of time going through the cards and figuring out what is worth selling. So I want to save you some time if you're interested in this and tell you right off the bat, what you need to do is find a community of Magic the Gathering kind of people and get involved with them and be known as a person who sells stuff on eBay and takes commission. So what I recommend you do is you can either do like a 50-50 split or a 30-70 split of the profit. If you're not really confident in how much to charge, then do a 30-70 split. So the way that works is you sell the item. They just give you the cards, right? So they have to trust you. I was normally able to have people do that. You know, they may do a little bit at first and then more later or whatever. But they give you the cards and then you sell them. And you figure out, okay, how much did it cost me to buy the sleeves? How much did it cost me to buy the envelopes? How much did I pay eBay fees? You take your sale cost minus all of the fees, and then what's left is the profit. And then you give them 70% of the profit, and then you take 30%. And that doesn't sound like much, but some of these cards sell for like $100 a pop, and we're talking about items that, like, these all ship in first class packages and cost like $2.21 to ship, plus shipping material like $2.40. It's really cheap. It doesn't take up much room, and they're really easy to package. And first class packages, which I'll show you more about in a second, no matter where they go in the country, they're going to cost the same amount of money. So you don't have to deal with the whole frustrating, like, okay, I have this 10-pound box, and if it sells to the state next to me, I earn a bunch of money, but if it sells to California, I lose money. You don't have to deal with that with these, right? So again, what you do is you find somebody, you find a community of Magic the Gathering players, and you get known in that community as the guy who sells the cards for you. And so then people know you, and you don't want to be looking through cards yourself. I really don't do that. It takes forever, and unless you know what cards have value, it's really time consuming. What you want to do is find the people who know what cards are worth selling, and then get them to give you the cards that they know have value already, and then sell those cards, and then give them most of the profit, but keep 30%. And the reason you do 70-30 is because they're kind of taking a risk by giving the cards to you, right? You could just fuck off and never pay them any money. But that's not the goal. The goal is to earn money. And I sold $4,000, actually more than that. I sold like $5,500 worth of Magic the Gathering cards for one person, and it was a pile of cards this big. Or actually, no, it was like this big. It was like a couple hundred cards, right? Like 60 cards is like this much, so it must have been like 600 cards for over $5,000. Crazy, guys. There's a lot of demand, and they sell quickly. So let me explain a little bit more, because I actually think this is more profitable than the Nintendo stuff. The Nintendo stuff is just easier to find because you don't really need to get involved in a community. But once you get known as the guy who sells Magic cards for you on eBay and gives you a commission, you can earn a lot of money. But let me talk to you a little bit about the shipping. So what you want to do to get ready to do this is you want to buy a bunch of first class envelopes, right? Because if you're buying, I don't know if you have any experience selling on eBay, but when a lot of people start, they buy packaging supplies one by one, and you're going to lose a lot of money doing that. Like when you buy a first class package, like a small vanilla or a manila envelope that's like padded with bubble wrap, it costs like $1 if you buy it one at a time. But if you do this, like bubble mailer, what we just need is like a 3 by 6 inch bubble mailer. That's enough to sell any amount of cards. And the cool thing about this is, say that your buyer buys like 10 cards, it costs exactly the same amount of money to ship as one card, because it's a freaking trading card. It has almost no weight at all. Like it weighs less than 0.1 of an ounce, right? So here we go. Look at that. Okay, so this is from China. So I normally don't buy stuff from China. I buy stuff from people who've already bought the stuff from China, so I don't have to wait for 2 weeks for it to show up. But I'm just going to show you as an example. What you'd want to do is, first you're going to need some kind of manila envelopes, right? And you want to buy a decent amount of them. So I'd go with like 100 pieces or maybe 50. And then we want to find oh, these are all too big. Oh, it's in centimeters. Okay, let's find the smallest one possible, which is, I guess, 11 by 13. Let's see how much that costs. Go on. I know it's not $12. Is it really $12? Wow, that's not bad at all. Okay, so as you can see, this is my point. If you go to the post office and you buy one envelope, it's going to cost you about, even maybe 50 cents or $1. If you buy 100 of these at once, you're talking about like 5, 6, 7 cents per unit. That's what you need to do if you're going to be selling cards. And in order to sell cards, you need 3 components, okay? You need a padded envelope like this, and then also you need hard card covers. Hard TGC cover. I don't actually... Sleeves! That's what they are. They're called sleeves. I don't actually remember what they're called. But basically you have a soft cover that you put the card in that's just like some basic flimsy plastic that just protects it from dust. And then you have a hard cover that is not very flexible. And that protects the card from getting bent while it's being shipped. Because some of these cards are worth like $100, you know, so you want to make sure that you protect them properly. But let's see this. Trading card sleeve. Okay. This is what it is. So now you'll see what I'm talking about. Sweet. Okay. So these are hard sleeves, and then these are soft sleeves. The soft ones are much cheaper, and the hard ones are more expensive. For expensive cards that cost like at least like $10, you want to put it in a soft and then also a hard case, and then put it in one of those bubble mailers I was looking at earlier. In total, it's going to cost you like 15-20 cents per package. So it's really not that expensive. But for cheaper cards, you can just ship them in this. You don't necessarily need the hard case. But I don't really recommend selling cheaper cards in the first place because there's so many of them. Anyway. Alright, so now I've shown you that you need to get the mailers and this, and then get involved with somebody in the Magic the Gathering card community, and then boom. That's how you can earn some money selling some stuff physically on eBay. And that's a good way to start, because this is going to give you sales, and then you can use the tricks that I taught you earlier in order to really grow your eBay account and get a really, really, really big one. And then there's a whole world of opportunity you could do with your eBay account. Like, there's tons of ways. You could use drop shipping or other stuff. There you go. Alright guys, I hope this video was useful. I will see you next time. Ciao.